FM.
All right, we welcome you in as we continue March Madness here at 1010XL and at 92.5 FM. Stop on by. We'd love to have you see us today. Live from Strings. It's sort of a home away from home for us. Strings at the beach right on Penman. Packed as always because Strings is always packed. That much I can tell you. And so we are glad you are here. If you can come on by and see us all day long. Do want to thank Paige Covington, by the way, of Engel and Volker's Realty. Man, she is a terrific real estate agent. She is sponsoring this, helping Strings sponsor this remote. And believe me, if you're buying a home, you're selling a home, give Paige a call, 904-563-5717. Paige is here today. She'd love to get to know you. I know some people have already heard this, and they're going to come up here and say hello to her. They've heard her commercials running. They want to meet her, and they're trying to figure out it's a tough home selling market right now. And so if you want someone that can really help you, Paige can do it. So thanks to Paige and all the folks at Engel and Volker. Frangie and Carlyon here. JJ LaSelva from Northeast Ocala is back at World Headquarters. JJ, we were all 11-5 yesterday, so no leader in the clubhouse. I'm sure you were keeping up.
Did anybody's have somebody go down who was going deep into the tournament for them?
I had Mizzou in the 16, but then losing. So
really, there was no madness.
There was no madness.
It was a really light day one.
Yeah, a couple of there were.
I mean, the biggest upset was a 12 over a 5, which I would say isn't really that shocking.
Four upsets. If you'd have picked chalk yesterday, you'd have been 12-4. A 9, a 10, an 11, and a 12 won. That's what won. So one of each. 1-9, 1-10, 1-11, 1-12. There were some close games. There were some close calls, but those are the teams that won. So no, nothing drastic yesterday.
It looked like Alabama earlier today might be in a real issue, but they got going late enough to put Robert Morris away.
And I will tell you, listen, I'm honest, Hays and JJ. I mean, I as much as I'm an SEC homer, I try to be honest about it. The SEC's kind of clunked around in this thing a little bit. Tennessee,
Arkansas beating Kansas was
now that was a good win.
Yeah,
but Kansas was upsettable. But you're right. If I'm going to point out the ones they didn't play well, Mississippi State hung around most of the Baylor game. Right at the end, they couldn't finish it off. But Texas lost early on. Georgia got just waylaid.
Yeah, I think the league saw that coming.
Yeah, Alabama, I do too. Alabama stumbled around. They beat Robert Morris, but I didn't like how they played.
No.
They stumbled.
I thought, look, with like 4 minutes left, it was like a 4-point game.
Yeah, they stumbled around a little bit, so not a great showing early on, I thought, for the SEC. So we'll see. But again, there's 14 teams. They're not all going to play great in a tournament, and the teams that are supposed to win have been winning. I guess that's the main thing.
I mean, here's what I would say about the SEC. At best case scenario, they're going to have 13 teams lose. Best case scenario, there's going to be 13 SEC teams that are knocked out of this thing, and if the SEC doesn't win the title, then 14 will get knocked out. But I would say it was Arkansas beating Kansas. I thought really helped the league out, and I will say this: that Arkansas-Kansas game, that was good basketball.
Yeah, it was.
Arkansas is getting 7 points tomorrow against St. John's. And St. John's pulled away from Omaha with a great second half, which is sort of their MO.
But that was clunky early on. I thought.
Arkansas, I think, absolutely can beat St. John's.
Yeah. I thought that game was more problematic for St. John's than I not watched them a lot. I've been honest about this. I haven't spent a lot of time watching the all the teams play. I wish I'd have seen Houston more. I did see Duke. But I haven't seen St. John's much. I haven't seen Houston much. I haven't really seen those teams, So So I'm learning. Do you feel that way too? You're kind of learning these.
Without
teams
a doubt. I mean, I don't watch national college basketball at all.
Yeah.
So like seeing St. John's yesterday and Texas Tech, because obviously those are the highest seeded teams in the West. Yeah. When you look at Florida's draw as the one, and St. John's, I thought, really looked unimpressive in the first half, to which I'm watching it saying, well, St. John's isn't even going to make the Elite Eight, so it really doesn't matter. Then in the second half, they were a different team, which, to hear the broadcast, that's sort of been them this year, is that they're kind of sloppy for 30 minutes, and then they turn it on. We'll see if they can keep getting away with that. Again, I think they're going to need 40 minutes of good basketball to beat Arkansas, who really seems like, and this is this is common for John Calipari teams.
That's right.
They tend to get better as the season goes on because it's either a group of freshmen. In this case, it's a group of first-year guys because Calipari's in his first year there. And he's not a particularly good coach. Bill Self went zone last night for the first time basically all season with like 10 minutes left in the game. They made the comment, Kansas only run 7 defensive possessions in zone all season.
Right.
But Self goes to it. Arkansas didn't know what to do. I mean, it was like they hadn't seen zone. It totally changed the game. And then Arkansas was fortunate enough to get enough late to stiff-arm Kansas and get the win. But I don't think Calipari is necessarily a great X's and O's guy, but that team has a ton of talent. And if St. John's is asleep at the wheel for 30 minutes, it may not matter how much intensity they bring to the second half. And Texas Tech almost got beat.
Yeah, Texas Tech was Texas Tech. So that gives you an idea. Let me update you on games today. Colorado State is handling Memphis. They're inside of 2 minutes to play. They're up 9, 73-64. Hays Carlyon from the Bowl School over there on San Jose Boulevard. He picked Colorado State, so that could help you. That could help you in a.
That would be big
just
if
they
can hold on.
A battle dogfight scrap with JJ and me. Colorado State leads, so that's a big Duke.
That wouldn't make me safe. It would just give me.
It would help you.
It would help.
It would help you. Yeah.
But I'm not in the clubhouse.
Yeah, right. You're not ordering your ribs yet. Is what you're saying. Okay, but
ribs sounds good. I may make the regardless if I'm going or not. I may get ribs on Monday.
Duke, whether you're picking them up or not, I hear. Duke easily over Mount St. Mary's. That's a 1/16, 54-28. They lead that game at the half. Vanderbilt, we all picked the 10 over the 7 there, Vanderbilt and St. Mary's, and early on it looks that way. It's early, but it's 4 minutes left in the half, 24-16. Vanderbilt with an 8-point lead in that game, so they're off to a decent start, and we'll continue to update you. You know tonight, Grand Canyon, Maryland, Florida, Norfolk State, the 1:16 game is at 6:50. You'll hear it on our AM, of course. Kentucky plays tonight against Troy, so we'll update you, and then we'll give you an update on games that have been played already as well.
I tell you, you're nervous if you're Maryland here, the 4th seed in the West, who probably would face Florida if chalk holds. They would face Florida in the Sweet 16. I think you're nervous because we're gonna have a shocker, and a 12 over a 5 doesn't count. So we're talking, when a top 4 seed loses, that's a big upset. And traditionally we've seen that happen. And it was a very quiet day yesterday. It was a very quiet noon block of games. We're now on to this block. Duke is obviously they're in fine shape here. So you got to figure somebody's going to lose. I don't think it's going to be Florida as a 28.5-point favorite.
Right.
Alabama's in as a 2 seed. St. John's is in as a 2 seed. Michigan State plays, and we'll see. But you're worried if you're a team like Maryland because there aren't that many top 4 seeds left.
Right.
And history says somebody's getting upset of a consequential seed.
We all, by the way, fell into recency bias and all picked North Carolina, the 11, to beat Ole Miss the 6. Ole Miss off to a great start in that game. I looked at my bracket last night and said, you know what? I wonder if we all jumped the gun a little on that because Ole Miss is off to a quick little start. It's just started. But they're off to an 8-2 start, so we'll try it. But we have that game on right in front of us. I thought it'd be a good game. So Ole Miss leads North Carolina 8-2. Earlier games today, I was watching Lipscomb, Iowa State, and for a little bit, it looked like Lipscomb could hang with them. I thought, wow, it's 15-15, and then they went up. And then Iowa State took off and won easily, 82-55 in that game. Alabama, you talked about it, did not play well in the game, but found a way to beat Robert Morris 90-81.
I don't think they were going to play Grant Nelson today, who had the knee in the SEC tournament, the talented big that can knock down threes for Alabama. And he started against Florida, couldn't really finish the game. And so that was sort of a question mark. My feeling is they probably weren't going to play him today. I don't think he played in the first half.
Right.
But it was a 4-point game. And so then I think
they said, "Uh-oh."
I think Nate Oates was like, "You got to get out there.
Don't hold him out,
and then lose,
and then there's not another game."
Yeah, and so he got in and he made his presence felt. He got fouled on a free throw miss by Bama that extended that possession. So I don't have the final numbers in front of me, but it did feel like he gave them a little bit of a lift. But yeah, Alabama they got a scare today, but they're through, and we'll see how they fare against the Vandy St. Mary's winner.
Yeah, so a lot of fun games going on today in the tournament. I'll say it again. There's nothing like it. Whether you think it's the best thing going or not, there's nothing like the NCAA tournament. There's nothing like the magic of it. Honest to God, Hayes, there's nothing like, again, what makes it treacherous is its one-and-done nature. But what makes it spectacular is its one-and-done nature. That's what makes it unbelievable, is you're so stinking nervous the whole time, look, Florida's a 28-point favorite. They're going to beat Norfolk State. Okay, they're going to win the game. But they get down 10-4, even though they're going to win the game. 10-4, you're going to be nervous, and you're lying if you say you're not.
Without a doubt, you can't. This is sports. You can't assume anything,
and it's one and done.
And we've seen in recent years a 16 beat a 2. Now I think in this case, it would be probably if Florida loses tonight, it would probably be the greatest upset in this tournament's history because of the nature of Florida coming in with as hot as they are and how many people are picking them. Yeah. I don't remember Virginia and Purdue, although they were 1 seeds. I don't remember them having the same kind of title buzz that year that Florida has.
I agree.
So we'll see. But I will say this, and you've pointed this out before. The good news is when you have a quiet day yesterday in terms of upsets, well, look at the schedule tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
The schedule tomorrow is unbelievable for college basketball.
15s beating 2s and 14s beating 3s are cool that day, but they're no good for the next round.
Right.
When the favorites win, Saturday and Sunday is phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Tomorrow you've got, the 3 games that off the top of my head, obviously St. John's, Arkansas, that's a must-watch.
Right.
That's in the middle of the afternoon.
It's
on CBS. Must-watch game. But then you get those 2 number 1 seeds, Auburn and Houston, I think with very difficult games, and the Vegas boys and girls agree, those lines are not big.
Right.
Auburn against Creighton.
Yes.
And then Houston against Gonzaga.
I'm telling
so this tournament may not flip. It didn't flip yesterday.
Right.
May not flip today. But tomorrow, you could have an epic day of some monumental bracket busting if Houston and Auburn, either one of those schools, goes down, or if St. John's goes down.
Well, Florida's going to win tonight. After that, they're going to play either UConn or Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Those are 2 brands now. So assuming UConn wins tonight, which I think they're going to, assuming UConn wins, Sunday you got Florida-UConn. As far as basketball brands, UConn's the ultimate brand, and Florida's
going
Florida.
for the three-peat
against
the last team that had a chance to three-peat in the Florida Gators.
Correct. As the last 2 teams that have gone back-to-back would be playing on Sunday. So we got a lot to talk. So we'll talk a lot of hoops. Pete Prisco stepped in. We talked some NFL coming up a little bit later on today on the program. Trenton Brown, I do want to tell you, just signed with the Texans, who now have 47 offensive tackles.
Are any of them any good?
They got rid of – well, here's what happened. They traded Laramie Tunsil and then signed every NFL tackle in the league. Unusual strategy, really. Yeah. It's a bold strategy. So, we'll talk some NFL coming up with Pete. Hayes has headlines in the 5 o'clock hour. We got a lot of fun stuff to do. But when we come back, Brett Hastings stops by. By the way, here's what a stud Brett is. He comes by earlier. He's on his way over here now. Comes by earlier. You ready for this? He's having one of the big bashes at the Hastings compound tonight. He's at the compound. So comes in earlier with his 2 sons. All right.
He's back.
All right. Orders 100 wings. Leaves, because he's going to come pick them up. Leaves, goes and gets a haircut. Comes back to do sports and courts, then takes his 100 home because he's got a party at the compound.
That's efficiency.
That's living large is what that is.
That's efficiency. That is living large.
That's what you. And by the way, speaking of that, Hayes and I are going to stick around and watch the Gators tonight. So come by and have a beer with us and hang out a little. We'd love to see you, but we are going to stick around and watch a little. There's a word on the street that I had my beautiful wife drop me off.
Nice, good move.
So my ride home is either Hays Carlyon or Bob Uber, one of those 2, and I'm gonna have a few beers tonight.
That's good. I got you.
So come on by and say hello. We'd love to have you. We're here at Strings. It's on Penman Road. This thing has been a big hit since the minute they opened it. Strings in Springfield is a big hit. It's always a big hit. But man, when they opened this one for all those beach folks, it's been a blast. So we hope you'll come on by. And again, thanks to Paige Covington from Engel and Volkers. She is the realtor to know. Again, her number is 904-563-5717. Give her a try if you're trying to buy or sell a home. And again, it's a tough selling market right now give her a chance to help you out. We'll take a break. Sports and Courts are next. Brett Hastings is here. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Grilling stuff.
3 double cheeseburgers with everything.
Fixing stuff.
Let's go to work.
Drinking stuff.
You know a lot about beer. He knows a lot about everything.
1010XL's Man's Man.
Bring it, baby.
Joe Coward. Weekdays 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
It's truck season again at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. Now available now, the all-new Silverado EV. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. Ask about low-rate financing and $7,500 instant cash savings on EVs. And remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. Who's got the best Silverados? Nobody but Nimnick. Head to Nimnick today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. The newest kids' crates from Panini hit shelves last week, as each one includes blasters of Prism Baseball, Donruss Soccer, Rookies and Stars, and Mosaic Football, plus a hanger pack of Prestige Football. It makes a great birthday gift. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The trip of the summer is coming. Live. Collective Soul. Summer Unity Tour 2025. Daly's Place, Friday, August 8th. Special guest, Graylin James Rue. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Live, Collective Soul, together.
Spring is in the air. Time to wake up your lawn with Heroes Lawn Care. Say goodbye to pesky mosquitoes with their organic and spray treatments. Perfect for outdoor fun. Keep your lawn clean and fresh with their pet waste removal for homes and businesses. Heroes Lawn Care takes care of it all. From mowing, edging, fertilizer, to irrigation, and much more. Visit heroeslawncare.com.
Make the most of every lawn with Kubota commercial landscaping equipment. From the productivity-boosting Z700 mower to the reliable SVL track loader, it's a lineup built to get the job done right. Because when your reputation is on the line, you need equipment that will never let you down. Visit Coastal Equipment in Jacksonville or McClenny.
Greater power for the great outdoors. Coastal Equipment.
Coastal Equipment on New Kings Road and in McClenny.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator Station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Blue here for the blue.
Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Go to WM.com/Duval.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, our buddy Brett Hastings is here. I told a story a minute ago. Came in earlier with his two sons. Orders the 100 wings because he's got the big party at the Hastings compound tonight.
Right. It's the Hastings Hacienda.
There's no question.
Yeah.
Leaves. Comes back to do sports, of course, and walks out here with the wings. That is planning, bro. That's what I call it.
Got to do it.
That's efficiency. You know, that's living the other life.
Yeah.
We don't know that life.
We do not.
That's living the other life.
But we will know that life when we crash the party.
That's
later.
exactly right.
Come on, man.
I can tell you, it's very
you will
close
be welcomed in to the ZFG bar. It's the Zero F's Given bar in the back. You know,
it's very close by. So he will. Gambling and basketball. Tell me about gambling and basketball is a crazy thing. Right. How is it blown up here? Give me kind of the lay of the land on how it's kind of blown up.
Well, obviously we've seen sports betting blow up nationally, right? And so, kind of looking at it from Florida, right? Because people want to know, can you sports bet in Florida? Well, you can now, right? And it's mainly because of the compact between the Seminole tribe, right, and the state of Florida.
Okay.
The big issue, and there was some litigation that kind of went one way and then they settled and worked things out, is that they said, okay, you can bet online with the Seminole tribe in Florida online, right? And so that's where you could do the Hard Rock bet and everything else, okay? Theoretically, can you collect money and bet in your bracket? No, not theoretically, okay? Nobody's ever going to get prosecuted for it. No, it is okay, and you would never see anybody come after from a sports betting perspective, a not-for-profit that might do it to raise money, a small office pool. But if you decided to say, hey, we're going to get 10 million people in the state of Florida, winner takes all, 30-some-odd million dollars, then you'd find that to be illegal, and you'd see something where the government would get in. But you want to know why the government's going to get in? You know, why do you guys think?
Why?
What?
Tax revenue?
Tax revenue. They don't want to see that much money ever exchanged and the state not be locked in the middle of it, right? And so even initially you said, okay, we're going to allow sports betting, and we've had, sort of the setup that we've had with horse and dog tracks in the state of Florida, and then we had it with the Seminole tribe, and they said, okay, you can go in there and do it at the casino. But the concern came, hey, if we start doing this over the phones and over the air, are we really going to get paid? And so, there's a lot more sophistication. And the one thing that I'll tell everybody is, okay, if you use the app, you see the way they work. They use all of these like geo markers and geo identifying to see who it is. You have to double verify the accounts and your identity. And that's really because the state and then also nationally, they want to be able to track this in the long term because they know nobody's handing cash, right? Like all the betting that used to be was in cash. And that was so you could circumvent the government from a tax perspective. And as long as they're able to get their cut, I think we're past the point of saying as a society, we're against sports gambling, right? The NFL's on, all the major leagues are on. And so it's only going to kind of get bigger as it goes from here. But right now, if you want to bet legally, Hard Rock bets. Fantasy picks, prize picks, it's unclear.
Well,
it's unclear right now.
Well, and you hit it, Brett. And I'm not a gambler, okay? So I'm the farthest you can be from. I just don't understand it very
So
well.
I don't got to pay you back for those bets.
So I've never been, but I really don't get it like others do. But it seems like the rules have changed so much. This is you know what, Hayes? This is legal, now it's not legal. This is not legal, now it is. I think if I was a gambler, I'd have trouble keeping up. Does it feel that way?
100%.
It does, right?
I'll tell you my concern as a parent. The boys have a great group of friends. Everybody has an app. They will show you. They use these VPNs to change so that they can use different apps. And then I saw a news story not that long ago that said for your college-aged kids, they have more money in sports betting accounts than they do in savings, right? And we all know they didn't build those giant, colossal, awesome things in Vegas because they were redistributing wealth to the people, right?
Yeah.
Like they were making the money on that, and most people are going to learn as it goes. So, I think sports betting's fun. It makes sport funner. But, there are people that have problems, that they're addicts.
Yeah.
That, they have those types of things. And so it'll be interesting, I think, in another 10 or 20 years because I think more people are involved in sports betting now earlier because it's so easy, right?
By the way,
it's 2 touches away.
What he said, I have heard, and again, my kid's 32. I don't have a kid in college. But I have heard sports betting is, and I don't mean illegal,
right?
But I've heard it is rampant on college campuses. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah.
I mean rampant on college campuses. And again, I don't mean illegal betting. I mean betting through all these.
Right.
So
it's picking parlays on your phone.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's not what you or I would think of traditional wagering, right?
Yeah.
Take Florida, lay 5 points, right? It's picking how many touchdowns does Trevor Lawrence, how many yards for the other people, and that's really what most of the kids I think really like. And which I didn't even know. I was like, show me some of this. I was just interested to see it. You can literally bet on anything now, and the betting is in kind of real time.
But I mean, legally.
Legally.
I mean,
well, with the prize picks, there's a dispute. There's litigation over whether or not it's allowed to be here. But you can surely set up an app, attach an account, and do it on your phone. Now, do I think they're going to come out and prosecute the individual people who bet? Never. Do I think that the government may say, or the state of Florida or whoever may say, you know what, we're not going to let this go on here, A lot of the pornography sites and stuff that using those geo-markers, they shut those down recently. So they could go in and say, hey, if you're knowingly trying to allow this to happen in the state, you might have a problem with the state of Florida.
Could athletes ever have a legal argument to say, hey, we should be able to wager on maybe not their sport or certainly their performance? Do you think?
I think it gets back to like ethics, right? Like journalistic ethics. I don't know that that's a legal issue as much as that, if people went in and thought the court process was rigged, right? You want there not to even be, we call it in the law, a sense of impropriety, right? If I became a judge, I've repped Frank for years. I wouldn't sit in that case because you just would. If I'm honest with myself, I couldn't divorce myself from, who I feel about him as a person. On the flip side, doing that legal analysis to sports, hey, every Florida fan hates the SEC refs, as do the Alabama or anything else. But if all of a sudden you found out a guy who didn't play the way you liked made a bunch of money because he took the under, it would destroy that with the game. So I think the players and everybody understands, hey, look at what fantasy sports has done, right? The amount of money that goes on in that. And so I think they know it's good. It's good for everybody else. I think they're just going to want more of a part of it. And we're seeing that now, right? These betting apps, if you bet on so-and-so, well, how'd they get the access to your picture?
Yeah.
How'd they get those things? And so, they're going to start being compensated. And that probably adds up not to be inconsequential. We've always thought, hey, what's the value of me on a trading card? But what about Caesars Sportsbook? What about Hard Rock Bet? All of these things. So,
Brett, will we get to a point, and it's a dumb question because nothing in this world is ever going to be black and white, and I get that. But will we get to a point where eventually these are the rules? The laws we know. If the speed limit is 65, if you go over it, you broke the law. I mean, most laws we know, we understand the laws. You can't break and enter. You can't. Will we ever get to where it doesn't change? where the laws, with the sports gambling I'm talking about, where sports gambling, this is it, you can do this, you can't do this.
I think it may get more settled, but I think the bigger issue hasn't been sports and it hasn't been the law. It's been technology. Technology has allowed things to happen that I don't think any of us would have thought 10 years ago, you know? I mean, my boys don't watch traditional broadcast media to get any news or information, right? They should be listening to this show. They don't, okay? They get all this information on Instagram and TikTok. And honestly, Florida produces their own reels, their own little interviews. They were showing me the other day, I guess there's a Gator Boys episodes, but it's produced by the athletic department.
Right.
And then they see when 1010XL puts out a social media reel or a news break. And that is how they go and get their content. So on the same way with the gambling and the other stuff, I don't even think we would have. I mean, I think you guys were going, hey, we need to do more social media a couple years ago. You wouldn't have thought 24 months or 36 months ago. You have people that look to your station that don't listen to this show that get their sports information from those social media pages.
It's a great point about technology. The rules haven't changed. The access has.
Right.
Because of technology.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you something, and it's not on this topic, so indulge me. But you went to the DJ Lagway Foundation.
I did.
What were your impressions of him as a young man? Because it's remarkable to me how much NIL he is devoted to women's athletics and to starting his own.
Explain what that was, the foundation thing, since we're talking about it.
He started his own not-for-profit foundation. He's amazing. The only thing I could say, he reminds me of Tebow, of Danny Warfel, and of Charlie Ward, where they're very faith-based. He's kind of Charlie Ward-esque, and that might even be a weird thing, but he's an understated, he's a relatively quiet guy, but his mother and father are like, you are here to do good. When you see his whole family that they came from, I honestly think they're much more happy and excited about the foundation launch than they were LSU and Ole Miss wins back-to-back. Really level guy, really big guy. Was shocked at how big he was. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures of him next to AR.
Yeah.
He's a really big guy. But, think about it. He lives in a world where he's making 7 figures now, but he's giving back now, right?
Yeah.
This foundation was very well orchestrated, put together. He has a very clear mission for it. And I've been to a number of these things over the years, and a lot of times I felt like there was a name attached to a foundation. I felt after being there, there were 2 things that came out. I think he'll be a Gator for the duration, number one, if people were out there, if that makes them feel better. And the second thing is that him and his mother are very, very, very driven to put that foundation together and to make it happen. So, when I saw him putting this large, donation towards it, that's just how things have changed. But, I do think we should applaud it, not just because I'm a Gator, anywhere that young men already are trying to give back and really do it the right way with the right level of sophistication and everything else. So it was remarkable.
Well, but I'm glad, by the way, you talked about, you made the point earlier that you've represented me for a long time, because since DJ Lag was on the table, let me just say this. I'm so excited about this that if it turns out his shoulder's hurt and he can't play, we're suing somebody. Okay, I don't know who we're suing, but because I'm really excited about what I think they might be if he's healthy. I'm serious about that part.
There's no doubt about it.
So we're suing somebody, Hays. And Brett will represent. You can represent Hays too, because Hays and I are together on this.
You got it.
That's really a good look at sports gambling. Again, I'm the worst person even to ask questions because I don't understand it very well. What I do know is what's legal today is illegal tomorrow, and I think we're getting at least a little better idea. And you hit it. I've never said this on the air, but I can't. People my age and younger, like you, have kids in college, okay? Right. And I have heard what you said. It is all over college campuses. The sports betting is so prominent on college campuses, you can't imagine it. And which is really an interesting thing. Brett, great work. Enjoy your 100 wings. Enjoy your party at the compound tonight.
And I'll tell people, I live at the beach. This is a top 3 wing right here.
Yeah.
They have phenomenal wings and strings.
No question.
So come in and get some.
Brett, thanks, buddy. That is Sports and Courts. More in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, another March update, served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
I'm Molly McDonald with your March Madness NCAA Tournament update. Checking in halfway through day 2 of March Madness, still in the first round. First-seeded Duke Blue Devils continue to dominate against the 16th-seeded Mount St. Mary's, 63-38 with 14 minutes to go in the second half. Looking over in the Eastern region, we have 10th-seeded Vanderbilt building a lead against 7th-seeded St. Mary's, 29-22 heading into halftime. With the 6th-seeded Ole Miss Rebels have officially tipped off against the 11th-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels. Early on in the first half, we have Ole Miss leading 30-19 with 7 minutes remaining in the first half. 12th-seeded Colorado State was able to walk away with the win against 5th-seeded Memphis to continue to round 2, 78-70. Some big games coming up is 4th-seeded Maryland taking on 13th-seeded Grand Canyon at 4:35. Stay tuned in to 1010XL for all your March Madness scores and updates all day long.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Call the deck guys if you want a brand new deck pavers or more. Call 904-813-2474.
TheDeckGuysJacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Pizza to Tea here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch? From lunch to late night, only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Stick around after the sunset, and Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Come on, somebody.
The Jacksonville Icemen have punched their ticket to the Kelly Cup playoffs in April. But first, the Icemen have some regular season business to take care of as they host the South Carolina Stingrays this Saturday for a possible playoff preview. Saturday is Hockey for Everyone night at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Puck drops at 7. Get tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIceman.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. 904-602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #FrozenFrenzy.
Dan and Jeff take you down the fairway with the PGA Tour professionals.
Keep an eye on this one.
Crunch with the Tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info. Brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation. 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy. You look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic.
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Navy Mutual would like to salute all Medal of Honor recipients that have been given our nation's highest award. In 1990, Congress designated March 25th as National Medal of Honor Day, and it was signed into law by President George H.W. Bush.
Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org.
You are in for a treat on Saturday, March 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. at Tobacco Cove, where the smoke is rich and the deals are hotter than a lit cigar. It's time for the La Aroma de Cuba cigar event. With great cigars, mouth-watering food, and awesome prizes. What more could you want? Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
And we appreciate our friends from Big Chief Tire. 5 locations here on the First Coast. The latest one is in Orange Park. It's a terrific location. We've done a live show from there. There's also the locations, 2 on the west side. The north side's 1, and 1 over here on Phillips Highway on the south side, which is where I go to get my car taken care of. Well, you can trust Big Chief Tire. I mean, you really can. For 60-plus years, they've been doing it right here in Jacksonville, and people have trusted them for that entire time. Head to Big Chief Tire for all your automotive needs. That means oil changes and brakes and alignments and, of course, those terrific tires. And they'll get you the right deal on the tires, too. They'll take care of you. So believe me, if you need tires, Big Chief Tires, those are the folks to go to. I can promise you that. Frangie and Carlyon here. J.J. LaSelva back at World Headquarters. Let me update you on a few scores here. Duke 73-41 over Mount St. Mary's at 116. That'll be easy. They are at the half. Vanderbilt leads St. Mary's. That's a 10 over a 7, 29-22. Ole Miss having its way with North Carolina. The 6 over the 11, 35-21.
Wow, Jackson Dart got hot.
Yes, he did. 5 touchdowns, I guess so. 35-21 over North Carolina, and that is late in the first half. So obviously not a lot of surprises there. Earlier today, games that were played earlier today, let me find you some scores here. Iowa State easy over Lipscomb, 82-55. You called this one, Colorado State. That's a 12 over a 5. The 78-70 winner, Colorado State over Memphis. Man, those 12-5s.
Yeah, we've got 2 of them. And you and I like
Liberty over Oregon.
The final one.
Yeah,
we like Liberty over Oregon tonight.
It's amazing. It really is. So Baylor in a good game, the 9 over to the 8, beat Mississippi State 75-72 earlier today. And we'll continue to update you as these games go along. A lot of fun watching these games as we continue. We'll talk some NFL coming up in about 15 minutes when Pete Prisco joins the program. Well, let's keep it on college stuff at least for a minute or two. What comes out, in your opinion, what comes out of this SEC season in basketball that so much was made of? Is it a one-off? Were they not as good as we thought? Well, I guess the tournament will tell us that. Do we have double-digit teams in the NCAA tournament every year because these programs are built? Because my thinking is, I was thinking about this today, Chris Beard's the Ole Miss coach. He's a really good coach. He got himself in some trouble at Texas, cost him his job. He's a really good coach. Chris Jans, the Mississippi State coach, is a really good coach. I mean, really good. That's Mississippi and Mississippi State. Vanderbilt found a really good coach after it didn't work out with Jerry Stackhouse. That's Vanderbilt. You know, say what you want about Mike White. He wasn't what Florida wanted. But he got to the tournament about every year. And if Florida won a tournament game every year, I'm not saying he's some great coach, but Mike White, he got Georgia to the tournament for the first time in 10 years this year. He rebuilt a dead program. Todd Golden's one of the best coaches in the country. So is Rick Barnes. So is Bruce Pearl.
Yeah, Buzz Williams and A&M is great.
So is Nate Oates. So is Buzz Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is,
I think Pope will be great at Kentucky. I mean, in given time.
So is this where we are? That the SEC will be the Big East of the 80s?
I think so, because the financial commitment has been made, and now that these schools are seeing the success and what it means to make a run in these events, it's intoxicating. It's something that once you experience it, you want to have that on your campus every year. Obviously, it's really hard to do it every year, but I think you're going to continue to see it. Watch out for Texas. There are whispers that Texas is going to offer Bill Self half the state to coach the Longhorns.
Wow.
And they may be catching him at the right time. I mean, who would have thought John Calipari would have left Kentucky for Arkansas a year ago? But it had gotten stale. It had gotten, there wasn't much appreciation for him anymore with the fan base and with the administration. And Calipari, I think, felt like he'd kind of reached what his ceiling would be at Kentucky and wanted something new. So he goes to Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised. Bill Self, the reason I picked Arkansas to beat Kansas, Bill Self has talked all year about how much he hates this team, how much they frustrate him. He just seems like a coach, and he's been at Kansas for a very long time now. I wouldn't be surprised if imagine that, as strong of all the coaches you just named, and then Texas might add. Now they may not.
Yeah,
but it's just in the wind. But I think they're going to call him. And they're going to make him say no.
Well, to your point though, even if Bill Self doesn't wind up there, someone good's going to. That's your point. I mean, Bill Self might. Someone really good's going to Texas.
Yes.
And I don't follow it close enough to know who's the hottest mid-major guy coming. But they're not. When they look around them, oh, by the way, Arkansas got John Calipari. I didn't mention him. I went through 12 coaches, 10 coaches. I didn't mention John Calipari is at Arkansas and in the round of 32 and maybe beyond, right? So Texas not only is, to your point about Bill Self, I think you're dead on, by the way. To your point about Bill Self, Texas also, if it's not Bill Self, it's not going to be some Joe Blow nobody knows.
No.
It'll be a big, does Texas go get Billy Donovan?
They might.
Yeah, if
that's where they're looking.
That's right. It's Bill Self. It's Billy Donovan. It's not somebody who just had one good year at North Carolina A&T.
Right.
It's just not. So I do get that sense. I get the sense that all of a sudden you're going to look up and you're going to have an SEC that is unbelievable in basketball. So it'll be interesting to see if that winds up happening. So
I think the NIL commitment is there. I think teams are seeing how competitive it is. I mean, you're going to get embarrassed now. Like, I don't think South Carolina and LSU had terrible teams,
right?
But they got embarrassed in the SEC this year because they were just sort of below average.
Yeah,
we're below average 10 years ago in the SEC. Well, you might still make the NIT.
Correct. Yeah.
Below average in this SEC, you're going to go 2-16 in league play.
Well, you're the only two teams that didn't make it. All right, so we'll talk more about that as we go. I'm going to ask Pete Prisco this in about 10 minutes. But let me ask you, what now to make of Aaron Rodgers? He's in Pittsburgh today, visiting with them. I thought Mike Florio had an interesting – sometimes Florio is reaching, and I don't really buy into the Florio stuff. But I thought he made a good point today. David Dunn's his agent. David Dunn, once upon a time, was a superstar agent. He was with Lee Steinberg, if you remember, broke off from Steinberg, and there was a big controversy because they had been friends.
Yeah, he's like the Bob Sugar and Jerry Maguire.
That's correct. That's exactly right. He exactly what he is. So he breaks off, and as he breaks off, there's big controversy, and then he had all the quarterbacks. Well, he's faded a little bit. He's not the guy he once was, but he still has Aaron Rodgers. So he never became the Scott Boras of football that it looked like he was. Now Rosenhaus is big and Mulligata is big, and there's a big list of agents. But David Dunn. So this is David Dunn's moment. So I'm wondering if, to Florio's point, and he didn't make all those points. He just said David Dunn wants him to take his time. But I added to it. I think that may be one reason why. What happens? Does he just sign with Pittsburgh now?
That's what he should do.
Because I still think the Vikings would have been best, but if that ship has sailed, if it's Pittsburgh and the Giants, you got to sign with Pittsburgh.
Without a doubt. If he wants to be relevant.
Well, I can't imagine why, unless he just wants to play. but I can't imagine why he would go to the Giants now. And if he winds up with Pittsburgh with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, I'm now, at least if nothing else, I'm intrigued to see what they are, because I think they've been, I hate to say a fraud. The Steelers aren't a fraud. They're too tough and physical and good on defense. But it's been, I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since 17. I don't think they've been a particularly good team. I don't think they've been a good team since Ben Roethlisberger left. They've been good on defense and had great heritage, and they're well coached, like you've always pointed. But I don't think they've had a good team. This could make them a good team.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, if you're the Ravens, if you're the Bengals, you're worried about that, having to face that twice in your division.
Yeah.
And so Rodgers is apparently left, and their Steelers are getting it out to their reps that, the meeting went very well. But it's interesting that he left unsigned.
Yeah.
Because I would assume if I was a Steelers fan and I saw the report today that he was visiting, I would have hoped that this afternoon it would have been, and then we're going to announce the deal. And there could be some things in this. Is Aaron Rodgers trying to learn from the Kirk Cousins playbook, and is he trying to, in the negotiation, say, all right, I'll come here, but you've got to promise me you're not taking Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe in the first round.
Yeah, good point.
mean, so, and look, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm not making him that guarantee. I would never tell any player that. It's like, look, we're not giving away what we're doing in the draft to you. No, we may take that. I mean, we may not, but
I would think the Aaron Rodgers signing, the perfect thing to do is to draft not Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, who would expect to start, but to draft Jackson Dart or Milroe or a guy that you could reasonably expect to sit for 2 years.
Right.
I mean, I think it's odd. He's not playing more than a year or two.
Right.
I mean, is he going to be 42 when he plays?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So, common sense. I mean, Tom Brady, who's Superman, didn't play much further past that.
But it makes me wonder if Rodgers is nervous because of what happened to Cousins.
Yeah.
Signs the big deal with the Falcons.
And then they
thinks he's safe.
And then they draft a starter.
In the top 10, they take Penix.
That's a good point.
So, it
that's
does,
a good point.
And so we'll see.
And who knows? And look, it could be a money negotiation.
The Giants may be willing to say, look, come here. We're not taking a quarterback at 3 if we have you. We'll take somebody that can benefit benefit you either a weapon or a lineman or a defender.
And you never know where the conversations are in terms of what negotiations. Negotiations might be about how many OTAs I want you to show up at.
Right.
There's 1,000 things. It might be I want a private plane to fly me in for the first day of camp. Yeah,
right.
I mean,
I've got a music festival in August.
Correct.
And I need to miss 10 days of training camp to go do ayahuasca and lose myself.
Right. But that's right. And he, by the way, is the guy that would want that stuff in there.
Yeah. If I was Pittsburgh, I'd be like, no.
Yeah. And so
he's not good enough anymore to warrant the special treatment.
And my guess is,
if he'd won a Lombardi there, that'd be different.
And my
but
guess
you've
is,
done nothing as a Steeler,
right.
And you don't deserve to have any special perks.
And I will tell you this, getting to see him up close and personal last year, from sitting on the 50-yard line in the broadcast booth, he's good, he's Aaron Rodgers, but it wasn't like seeing Aaron Rodgers 8 years ago. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
I was at that Super Bowl when they beat the Steelers. I thought I was watching John Elway.
Right.
I mean, the way the ball came out of his hand.
Yeah.
Remember the way the ball came out of Elway's hand? Burt Jones used to throw it like that. It was like a rifle shot, Well, he didn't look like that last year at EverBank Stadium. I didn't think.
And I think the Steelers should aggressively try to sign Rodgers. They should offer him a good amount of money.
Right.
But you can't start getting into really deep concessions because there's too many prideful people in the Steelers locker room.
Right,
They're not going to. That's not going to go over well.
Yeah.
And Tomlin isn't going to want to create that. So it's like, I think the message should be, Aaron, we'd love to have you, and we will pay you, what you're worth. And we're going to put a great team around you.
Right.
But you've got to be here. I mean, you've got to be here helping us, leading this team.
Yeah, that's right.
Not, in some cave, drugged out of your mind. Thinking about anything except the NFL.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we'll see. And again, final thought on that, and I'll ask Pete the same question. Those things might be what happened in Minnesota. Minnesota was still the best play. Minnesota's got a better team than Pittsburgh, significantly better receivers than Pittsburgh.
You're playing in a dome, which might help a 40-year-old.
That's right. That's a really good point. So that might have, and for whatever reason, that broke down. So we'll see. We'll take a break. Pete Prisco will cut through all that, and we'll talk some Jaguars with him as well. That all comes up after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL. Anybody hear that? 1010XL. Fairly alarmed here. It's a
1010XL. 10XL. One thing that separates Beard's Diamonds from those other jewelry stores at the town center, no one's paid on commission.
Nobody at Beard's is on commission. That's more of your corporate stores that pay commission.
Beard's owner, John Lupo, says that means no pressure, no hidden agenda, no extra markups.
And you're getting a better deal. You're not paying the corporate commission. You're not paying the salesperson's commission. If they're paying their salespeople commission, you're starting off in a hole.
And that's why you feel like a number at most jewelry stores, because it's all about making the sale, but not at Beard's.
Because it's a corporate atmosphere and they want to sell you what they want to sell you. We're here to sell you what you want. Our salespeople can do whatever they want to make sure that the customer is happy.
So relax. At Beard's Diamonds, they have all the things you want, like quality education, selection, warranties, and none of the stuff you don't want, like pressure and tacked on commissions.
Nobody's making an extra 5 or 10% on Beard's customers.
Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler.
We sell better merchandise, better product for less money, guaranteed.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Tax season is here, and your refund can go further at Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Put the extra cash to work by investing in your vehicle, whether it's overdue maintenance, brake repairs, or new tires. Their skilled technicians will help you get the most out of every dollar. With 5 Jacksonville locations, fair prices, and trusted service, Big Chief Tire has everything you need to hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back in the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. Joe C for Hard Rock Betting, it's finally here. You've got your bracket. Now you've got to head to hardrock.bet and check out all the big games. This is it. March is all about underdogs, buzzer beaters, unforgettable moments. Hard Rock Bet keeps the action going with promos, boosts, and more all tournament long. Don't miss out. Be ready for tip-off. Download the Hard Rock app now. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
ET here, and spring in Clay County means one thing: the award-winning Clay County Fair. It's more than just rides and a concert, it's an experience. Savor the flavors of classic fair treats, explore family-friendly attractions, and enjoy a perfect mix of small-town charm and big-time fun. Plan your trip with Explore Clay County Tourism and turn your visit into a getaway. Find the best places to stay, eat, and explore at exploreclay.com. And don't forget to share your fair adventures with #ExploreClay.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida State's baseball team has been absolutely rolling this season with another big win last night. The fourth-ranked Seminoles pummeled the Miami Hurricanes 14-1, run-ruling them on the road. FSU's Max Williams hit a 2-run shot 11 pitches into the game, his 9th home run of the year. The Noles hit 5 more homers throughout the duration of the night. Manager Link Jarrett had some assuring words after the dominant victory.
Really proud of the response of the team. Well pitched, the double plays, nicely done. I thought we caught well behind the plate, and I can't say enough about the consistency of the at-bats tonight. 5 or 6 home runs. I think Carnes hit 2 and Lodice 2 and Max and Miles, and I'm proud of the guys because that was not a pleasant Tuesday, and we needed that, and it was a very, very good response by the group.
It's 65 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, we just thank our friends from Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. They do a fantastic job. Look, I don't care who it is you root for. They've got your stuff there. It's the best collectible store you've ever been to. I can promise you that. And now they're an official professional sports authenticator. That's right. Showtime is now an official professional sports authenticator. 2 days a week, you'll be able to bring your cards into Showtime and have them submitted for PSA grading. That's a big deal in the collector's world. So head to Showtime for all the stuff you can want. By the way, Wednesday 1 to 6, Sunday 12 to 5 is when they do the authenticating. So get over there. You can always find more by calling the store, 904-527-8980. Pete Prisco joins us now. Pete, how your brackets look? Your brackets looking good?
They're not bad, actually. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, but look, you know they're going rotten at some point. They always do, right?
They all go rotten eventually. Who do you have winning it? Who's your Final Four you got winning it?
Duke.
Duke
I mean, I'm pretty. Look, but you guys got a great team. I love that team. They're fun to watch.
They are
good. Are they one of the better teams that money can buy? Is that what they were in Florida?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And, that's the way it should be.
We take pride in that.
Yeah, you know what? And I don't know if you know this or not. We haven't always spent big money on basketball, Pete. Okay, so that's kind of we spend it on one of those other sports. It's kind of what we do. So
what they pay Clayton to come there because he's damn good, man.
Boy, is he good. And I will. Not only is he good, but good. I mean, Rick Pitino wanted him. Pete, I think he's one of the best players they've ever had there. I mean, he and Vernon Maxwell are the 2 best guards that have ever played there. I mean, he's
playing in the league. He's playing in the league.
No
He's
question.
going to play in the NBA. Yeah.
No question. I think he is too. So, all right, lots of things to get to. I'll get to the Jags in a minute. First of all, what do you make of all the Aaron Rodgers stuff? I was convinced Minnesota would be the right spot for him with the receivers and O'Connell. He didn't go there. Now he's in Pittsburgh today. Didn't sign with them. What's going to happen with him, and what do you think should happen with him?
Well, I think Minnesota was his first option, and that would have been great for him. But the problem with that is they didn't want him. And so when you don't want him, it takes two to tango. So I think Pittsburgh's his next best option, and I do think he ends up there. I think it makes sense. Now, if you're the Steelers, you can bring Rodgers in and then still can draft a quarterback at 21 for the future if you like one of those guys. So I think there's possibilities for him. Because Rodgers isn't the long-term answer. But if you're the Steelers and you want to be competitive or at least, try and compete for a division title, you got to have a quarterback, and you can't play a rookie. So I do think that they will bring him in. Ultimately, that's the best spot.
Do you think there's a chance that Rodgers' agent could say, hey, he'll sign here, but you have to guarantee us you will not take a quarterback in the first round?
No, he wouldn't. And if they did do that, they would say, sorry, dude. No, they can't do that. You can't put that kind of stipulation on it. But, again, his other option would be to play in New York. They might draft a quarterback in the first round. So I think from a Pittsburgh standpoint, you bring him in, you play him this year. If it works out, then maybe you play him next year. But you have to get a young quarterback at some point next year.
Pete, let's get to the Jags for a second. They now have 10 signees. They signed Fred Johnson, former Gator, who's a big old dude now. He's 6'7.5", about 330, 340. And I can tell you what I'm told, and we're kind of connected down there too, that none of those offensive line jobs are set. They really want to create competition. Walker Little and Anton Harrison are the two existing tackles now, but I think they believe both swing tackles, if you will, are going to have a chance to win those jobs. Are you surprised by how committed they've been to that offensive line?
No, it's the right thing to do, and they got a vice VP of football operations that was once a great offensive lineman and a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. And, Gladstone knows as well. You got to be good on the offensive line. All anybody has to do is look at last year's Eagles team. And by the way, I thought the Johnson signing was an outstanding signing for them. You go back and watch his tape last year. He was really good when he had to play for Mailata, and he could play up and down the line. I think he can play the right side if need be as well. So, yeah, I think there's going to be competition. Anybody who thinks Walker Little is going to stand in there and win that job and just, that's the end of it, that's not happening. There's going to be an open competition for the left tackle, for the right tackle. Macari will be the right guard, but the rest of those jobs, depending on what they do in the draft at the other spots, I think there's going to be competition in all of them.
Do you think, Fred Johnson was really good, and he can play both spots, by the way. He played for Lane Johnson some a little bit, too. Is there, in your opinion, can Chuma Edoga, who they got from Dallas, swing tackle, and Johnson, what are the chances? I think they could beat out one of those two guys. You just said it. I guess you said there's competition, but I'm asking you to take it a step further. Would you be shocked if Fred Johnson is a starting tackle for the Jags this year?
No, I would not be. I look. Again, I go back to last year. He was really good, and he can hold up in pass protection. He's an athletic guy. He's tough. Like you said, he's a big guy. It wouldn't shock me at all to see him start for that team. And again, competition is good. That's what you want, particularly when you haven't been great in that group up front. It's not like the Eagles, where Fred Johnson went to camp with the Eagles. If nobody gets hurt, he's a backup tackle. Well, now he comes here and he knows he's got a chance to start. He's on a one-year deal. If he went in there and started and played well, then he can cash in on the next contract. So I think that one, of all their signings this offseason, that one to me was really good this late in the process.
Do you think Ezra Cleveland is in danger at left guard, and do you anticipate that a premium draft pick, maybe not fifth overall, but that high second rounder, one of the 2/3, could be an interior offensive line prospect to maybe beat out Ezra Cleveland?
Yes, absolutely. I think, again, here's the other thing, in the equation. If for some reason they came in the second or third round and they said, hey, you know what? There's a center here we really like, maybe the kid out of Georgia, and you say, you know what, we'll take him, make him the starting center. And Hainsey has played guard, by the way. He's done it. He's been a guard in the past. Now, ideally, he's your center, but he's played guard. So you can go into camp with competition at spots. But I think Ezra Cleveland by no means has his job locked up. Remember, he's an athletic guy, not a big physical mauler. The last regime loved those athletic guys, but this regime is going to be a little bit different. They're going to play it a little bit different, so they're looking for bigger physical guys up front. So his job is definitely on the line.
All right, so you may be one step ahead of me with that answer, but okay, they've signed 10 free agents. 4 of those are offensive linemen. 40% of a big free agent class is offensive line. Now they've got 10 picks. How aggressive will they be? There's no doubt they draft at least one offensive lineman, right? Probably an interior guy now, but one, maybe 2, Pete? Could they take 2 offensive linemen with those 10 picks?
Well, I think they could. They could take, one in the second or third round. Maybe, a guy like, I'll give you an example. I love Tate Ratliff from Georgia, the right guard.
Yeah.
What an old school guy he is.
Good
Tough,
player.
physical,
Good player.
Nasty. The center's good at Georgia. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with either one of those two. And there's a lot of guards in this draft, and by the way, a lot of tackles that are going to be good guards particularly for the style of play they want to play. You can move guys in. I'll give you an example. Emory Jones, the right tackle at LSU, I think he's going to be a hell of a guard. I don't think he's a great tackle. You could play him a tackle in situations, but I think he could be a great guard. So I think they address one of the 2 interior, whether it's center, maybe both, center and guard. Maybe you get a guard center, second or third round, then you come back in the later to get a young developmental guy maybe in like the 5th or 6th round.
If Travis Hunter is there at 5, do you run the card up? And what do you think the odds are that the Jaguars might have that good problem?
I actually had my first mock coming out on Monday, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting Travis Hunter in that mock.
Really?
Oh, right.
Really? Well,
here we go.
So you have 2 quarterbacks. You have both quarterbacks going then. You'd have to.
I do. I have both quarterbacks going. I have, Abdul Carter going, and then I have the Patriots passing on Hunter to take an offensive lineman, something they have to do. And in that scenario, your choice would be between Hunter and Graham, and I think in that scenario they would take Hunter.
I don't think there's any question in that scenario. Listen, I'll bet you in draft rooms all over the league, they're all saying, I'll bet he's the one guy, Pete, because I've taught. Trust me, you know how people feel about him. I think he's the one guy. Rarely do you go up to get a non-quarterback. You know what, Pete? If you go up at all, I mean, really, no one's going up. I mean, now you may go up from 35th to 32nd, but I mean, no one's going up early in the draft to get something other than a quarterback in recent days. Pete, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the one guy people talked about going up to get. I think people love him, his commitment to football. I mean, I'm told that he can't get enough of it. He's the first guy. He's the first guy at the complex. He's the last guy to leave. Right. So that makes him even a better prospect, right?
Yeah, and don't you remember back in the day, he used to show up at 7-on-7 camps to play with guys he didn't even know just because he wanted to play. I mean, that's the kind of kid he is. From what you hear, he would love to be in Jacksonville. That makes it even better. So, I think that would be great for them. It would be a perfect situation. But look, if you're in the spot where he's not there, and Mason Graham is there. By the way, he were at the workout today at the pro day. He weighed in over 305 pounds. Remember at the combine, he was under 300, and he looked little. But what guys do, sometimes they cut weight to try and get a better workout in, and then they get back to who they are. And so he was up over 300 pounds today, which is a good thing for him.
And I think final thing, and by the way, Mason Graham's still the guy I think they're going to wind up with. When it's all over, I think he's going to be the newest Jaguar, in my opinion. Final thing, where does all the quarterback stuff land? Flacco still doesn't have a team. Jameis Winston doesn't have a team. Aaron Rodgers, we know, doesn't have a team. I'm probably missing a veteran here or there. Does that stuff play out pretty quick, do you think? Where's that stuff going? Where's that stuff headed?
Well, I think Rodgers is the one everybody's waiting for to see what happens. And if Rodgers goes to the Steelers, then I think, the Giants have to look at some of those veteran quarterbacks. They brought in Flacco. They brought in Winston. They got to sign one of them and hope like heck they can draft one of them. And if they don't, they have big problems. If the Giants, if the Giants find out, and you're starting to hear stuff leaking out that the Browns might want to get Shedeur Sanders, which, I don't know where that's coming from, but when I talked to some people in that building, they weren't enamored with Shedeur Sanders. But if they are, the Giants are going to be sitting there at 3 saying, hey, maybe we'll make the move for the Browns and go to 2 and go get them because they need a quarterback. And I really don't think this quarterback class is great. It's not. I don't think the top 2 guys are great. Everybody's trying to, push the kid from Louisville up. I don't think he's great. I'll tell you 2 guys that intrigue me. 3rd rounder, Kyle McCord from Syracuse, and Quinn Ewers, who wasn't healthy at all last year at Texas. Wasn't healthy one bit. Had a torn oblique muscle, had an ankle injury, can really throw the football when he's healthy. I think those 2 guys in the 3rd round are options for teams looking for a quarterback.
You don't love Dart? I love Dart. You don't love Dart, Pete?
I don't. I think he's got a chance to go in the 1st round, but I don't love him.
You don't love it. Interesting. All right, Pete Prisco, great work as always from CBSSports.com. Always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Thank you, Pete.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, Pete Prisco talking NFL. Gosh, he does a great job. Nobody does it better than my friend Pete Prisco from CBSSports.com. And it is brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Again, they're now an official PSA dealer, a professional sports authenticator. The collectors all know what that means. 2 days a week, you can bring your cards in and have them authenticated for PSA grading. The days are Wednesday, 1 to 6, Sunday, noon until 5, and you'll be awfully glad that you did that. So head in there if you get an opportunity to. That is Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. We are live at Strings. Oh, we just brought out some.
How about this? Look at that.
Lauren thought she was getting that, didn't she? Scott had even showed it to Lauren. Lauren Brooks is in here, and then brought it to us. No, I can't take it now. And now brought it to us. There it is. That's exactly right. So
looks great.
Great food here as always. Do want to thank Paige Covington and the folks at Engel and Volkers Real Estate one more time. If you have real estate needs, Paige has been a lot of folks have come in here to see Paige today. She's met a lot of folks today, which is good. Call her at 904-563-5717 for all your real estate needs. We'll take a break. We've got headlines after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Even more Jaguars. Listen to the Tommy Mac podcast with Tom McManus and Campo and Joe with Dave Campo and Joe C. Find these original podcasts at 1010XL.com or on Twitter at 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent you.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Prize, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Hicken here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL. Every morning that you wake up in a pest-free home is a good morning. And with Florida Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service, you can. It's more than just a pest control or preventative maintenance plan. It's Florida Pest Control's promise that we'll be there providing pest-free living for your family all year long. And right now, our initial pest service is just $99. To learn more about our Pest-Free 365 service and to schedule your $99 initial pest service, visit flapest.com today. When you hear Florida Gators baseball on 1010XL, it's brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators, and Farrah & Farrah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. We've got Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva back at 1010XL. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're injured, that is who you need to call. They will take great care of you. 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with college basketball. Where's the madness?
Yeah, well,
we're now a day and a half into this thing.
No shocking.
And we've only seen a couple 12s over 5s, which we sort of expect that.
Yeah.
Are we going to have carnage, or are we going to have what will turn into a great Saturday and Sunday of second-round action?
I think that. Because there are even some big wins. Even a 10 over a 7, we thought Vandy would beat St. Mary's. They got off to a good start against them. We all three picked them. Well, now they're trailing. St. Mary has taken the lead. They lead 53-30. The three of us, also picked the 11 over the 6, North Carolina over Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is just gutting the Tar Heels. It's 50-30 as we watch this thing. And I mean, from the minute they tipped it, Ole Miss has had something for North Carolina. So, I don't think so, Hayes. I don't think this is a year of the major crazy up. Not only we have not had a lot of crazy upsets, we haven't had buzzer beaters.
Right.
We haven't had in-game drama very often either in this thing.
We have not, and it looked like Maryland got off to kind of a slow start, the 4th seed in the West region, but they are crushing Grand Canyon right now, 33-16. So if we don't get any upsets, then hopefully this weekend we'll get Saturday and Sunday. Will be some outstanding basketball. We will give you the results so far for games today. Baylor beat Mississippi State 75-72. They will now play Duke. Baylor will. Duke all over the 16th seed there. Iowa State 82, Lipscomb 55. Iowa State the 3 seed in Auburn's region, the South. That'll be interesting to see how that continues to progress. Really the only upset, Colorado State, who I think actually was the betting favorite by the time the game tip-off came.
Right.
But Colorado State, the 12th seed, technically upsets 5th-seeded Memphis 78-70. That is in Florida's top half of the West.
Right.
So the winner will in all likelihood face Maryland unless Maryland really collapses against Grand Canyon.
And it doesn't look like they will. They're up 34-16.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So really anything grab you from the results. Alabama was in a little bit of a dogfight with Robert Morris. They win 90-81.
Yeah, there's not a lot of surprises to me as I look at the scores. I mean, I thought Vandy would beat St. Mary, but they are the 10 over the 7, so I wasn't shocked by that. This one probably as much as any. Again, we all fell victim to the recency bias. Carolina wins by 30 or whatever over San Diego State, and the next thing you know, we think Carolina's back to being Carolina. I'm mad at myself for not getting this one right because that recency bias got us all. So no, I think I'm not real surprised by anything. But like you said, the story now will be tomorrow and Sunday. We look like we are in line for some really, really good games. I tell you, it'll be a great weekend of games. I got golf in the morning around 9 or so, but you're probably like me. After that, I will lock in.
Oh yes, absolutely. It'll be maybe a beach run tomorrow if the weather is nice in the morning with Gene and the dogs, and then absolutely in front of the TV by the time that the action gets underway. The first game tomorrow, Purdue against McNeese. McNeese, one of the few, really Cinderella possibilities still left in this thing to this point. You updated us on Vandy and St. Mary's. We talked about Maryland, Grand Canyon. So let's get it to, and when you mentioned Ole Miss killing North Carolina, let's look back at last night after we got off the air. Missouri and Kansas knocked out of the West region. That's the 6 and the 7 seed. Anything surprise you about either one of those outcomes?
Yeah, the Missouri game surprised me a lot. I had them in the 16, so that'll blow up my bracket. Are part of my bracket. I was very surprised they started so slowly in that game. Look, Drake hasn't won. Drake hadn't been to the 16 since '71, I think I saw. So that game really surprised me. And then after playing badly early on, Hays, they had a chance to win. They clawed back in it. They got it to down a possession or two. And Tamar Bates, who's been their best player, the Indiana transfer, has been there 2 years, who killed Florida both games. The one they won, the one they lost. Couldn't make anything. Missed a layup. Two wide open threes. At least one wide open three. I think it was two. Then a layup. So I thought Missouri had chances to win the game at the end of the game. So of the games last night, that surprised me the most.
Yeah, I really thought Arkansas and Kansas was a high-level basketball game. For it being a 10 versus a 7, the action was fantastic throughout. I thought not a lot of mistakes. It was just good plays being made on both sides. Bill Self nearly stole that game. Arkansas really kind of was the more athletic team, which is not something you don't normally say about the Jayhawks. But it looked like Arkansas had a little bit more bounce.
Yeah,
and Bill Self went to the zone with about 10 minutes left, down 8-10 points, and Arkansas had no answer for it.
Right,
it was really pretty striking. And Kansas hadn't utilized the zone all year. They said on the broadcast they'd only had 7 defensive possessions all season in zone defense. But to Bill Self's credit, it almost worked, because Arkansas really had about 7 minutes where they were stymied.
Right.
Now, they were holding Kansas defensively on the other side, but it was a really good game, and now we'll see if Arkansas can continue to make noise, which gets us to, we're looking at this West region through, Gator goggles, with the Gators being the 1 seed. Let's talk about some of the heavy contenders in that region. They were in action last night. Your impressions of 2nd-seeded St. John's against Omaha and 3rd seed Texas Tech, who kind of got a scare from the 14 seed.
Both those teams struggled early on, but I think certainly in the case of St. John's, we haven't been to the tournament in a while jitters. They looked, because once they got it going, they looked really good. I think, listen, you haven't been there, man. And so much has been made of your team, and so many people have been telling the Patino story. And just like Florida, I think they made their bones this year, Hayes, by being the chip on the shoulder underdog. Nobody thinks we're any good. Well, now everybody's picking them for everything. It's the same flip that Florida has made. So how do you deal with walking in there and being the hunted? I think Alabama felt that today. I think Auburn felt that. I think there's an adjustment. That tournament's different. You're in arenas you've never played in before. The fans are booing you because they want the underdog. Everybody wants the upset. And all of that you have to adjust to. And I think we're seeing the favorites having to adjust to that. Not everybody. Duke came right out of the gate. They're used to being – the Duke's been the hunted forever.
Right.
But the teams that haven't been the hunted forever are dealing with that. I think St. John's is very good. I think Texas Tech is very good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they both play much better tomorrow.
In an hour and 20 minutes, the Gators will start their run against Norfolk State. Todd Golden said yesterday when he met with reporters in Raleigh, said, while our guards are great, it's Florida's front court that is the separator.
What makes them so good, and by the way, they're both great. Everyone's now saying that because the big guys haven't gotten as much attention because people have given so much attention to the three guards. I'll say this. My friend Chris Hare, I've known Chris 35 years. I think Chris has had such an amazing run this year. His story today about the guards talking about the bigs was so fantastic. And I listen, Edgar Thompson does a good job writing about him. Kevin Brockway does. It's a good group of beat guys. Zach Alberverdi and the website guys are good. But I thought Chris has done such a good job this year of really chronicling that run by this basketball team. But no, I think they're all good. I think the big guys, I think the guards. I think Florida, I won't say caught a break. You earned that number 1 seed. But I think there's a difference between the 15s and the 16s.
Without a doubt.
I think a 2-15 game is a harder game than a 1-16 game. It just is. And so Florida, this is a good game to get the early, haven't been in the gym before, jitters out of the way before you probably play UConn Sunday in a game everybody's going to be watching.
What kind of game do you expect to see tonight for the Gators? And score if you have one.
Yeah, 101 to 68.
Okay. Florida covers.
Yeah, I think that game. I think that's the game tonight. I'd be very surprised if it's not that game. I think Florida. Again, you try and divorce yourself from your natural bias because it's your team, and we're not used to them being there. But I think they might have the best team in the country. I think that's the bottom line. And when you have one of the best teams, you open by playing one of the worst teams in the tournament, and I think that's what's going to happen.
We talked about it. Not a lot of upsets yesterday, which leads us to what should be a fantastic Saturday. I'll give you 3 games that I can't wait to see. St. John's versus Arkansas at 2:40 tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Creighton versus Auburn at 7:10. And Houston versus Gonzaga at 8:40. Could one of the lower-seeded teams pull an upset?
Any of those 3. I think any of those 3. I think Auburn's going to win. Okay, I think Auburn's going to win. The Gonzaga. Would you be surprised at all if Gonzaga won?
I wouldn't.
Not at all. So, and that's a later game. So, of the 3 you mentioned, I would be very surprised if Auburn didn't win. The other two would not surprise me anyway. No, there's no way they'd surprise me.
Let's get to the NFL. Aaron Rodgers visited the Steelers today, but left no deal. But both sides told reporters that they thought the meeting went very well. Does he ultimately become a Steeler?
Yeah, if he wants to play, that's where he's going to go. I still think the Vikings would have been the better choice for everybody, but for whatever reason, the 2 sides never got it done. Whether one wanted too much, whether there was never as much interest on one of the 2 sides. Pete Prisco said Rodgers wanted to go there, and at the end of the day, the Vikings didn't want him. So, but for whatever reason, however it wound up playing out, or why it wound up playing out the way it did, at the end of the day, I think in my opinion, at the end of the day, I think he's going to wind up with the Steelers. I can't imagine 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants who are in a rebuild. It's a great market. Well, you're just in the market. I think if you're going to play, again, I think you want to go to one of the teams that conceivably can be a contender with you, and the Steelers are the closest to that.
Trenton Brown signing with the Houston Texans, so they get Cam Robinson earlier in the week. Another veteran tackle presence. Is that a good move for the Texans?
Yeah, what they've done is once they traded away Laramie Tunsil, they've signed every available offensive tackle. I think Jason Odom and Reggie Green are going to sign with them before long. Look, I think the Texans, for a team that has won back-to-back divisions and looked like they had some promise, they're changing a lot of stuff. I mean, they're not happy with, not the least of which is firing their offensive coordinator. So the Texans are changing up, particularly on offense. Defense are kind of locking in with what they had, but offense they're changing a lot on their offense, which is it'll be interesting to see the way that plays out in the division.
A really good former Jaguar has a new home. Jamal Agnew signing with the Atlanta Falcons.
I love Jamal Agnew. I liked him better than Devin Duvernay. I was sorry they didn't bring him back. I think he's a gamer, and I thought he made more big plays for that team than people realize.
Absolutely.
I think he's a really good player. I think he's a really good player, and I really do. I think it's a mistake. It was a mistake to ever let him go, and I hope he does well with the Falcons. I love him. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. Let's get it to golf. The Valspar Championship is going on at Copperhead. Jacob Bridgman was 7 under last I looked. He was finishing up his round. But 3 names, notable names that are making a nice run. Victor Hovland, who really struggled here last week at the Players' Championship. Hovland is 5 under going into the weekend. Shane Lowry, 4 under going into the weekend. And Xander Schauffele shaking off some of that rust from the rib injury. Obviously, we talked about he got $50,000 for finishing last at the Players' Championship among the 72 players that made the cut. Xander Schauffele, 3 under. So when you're not watching basketball, if you're into golf, could be a pretty fun leaderboard at Copperhead this weekend.
You know what's interesting? I've played it. I've played Copperhead. It's a really hard course. I don't mean just for hacks like me. I mean even those guys. It is the way they set it up for the pros, but it is a really hard golf course. So 7 under after 2 days at Copperhead is golfing your ball, bro. So I'm like you. It'll be fun to watch then as we get closer and closer to Augusta and we get beyond the players now, which is so fantastic. It'll be fun to watch who emerges.
In the world of Major League Baseball, Pittsburgh ace Paul Skeens' 1-of-1 rookie card, it's a Topps card, netted $1.1 million. Skeens himself will make $875,000 this season. The Phenom struck out 170 batters in 133 innings last season en route to winning NL Rookie of the Year honors. Frank, how much did the $1.1 million set you back?
Yeah. Well said. Well asked. How about the fact that Paul Skeens, probably the most talked about baseball player in the world, certainly, maybe not, maybe Shohei's more talked about, but certainly in the conversation, he's going to make $800,000.
That's amazing.
I mean, he's going to make $800,000. Now, he probably got a big bonus, I'm sure, when he got drafted.
Yeah.
But he's going to make think about that for a second. He's going to make $800,000. Yeah, listen, I had to sell off the house. The wife's got to go back to work.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, listen, you got to have priorities, Hays.
That's right.
If you're not committed.
But you got the car.
If you're not committed, you're not committed. I mean, god dang.
Absolutely. We will get you guys out on our musical note of the day. Today we honor Janis Joplin, who reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 this week. Back in 1971 with this classic, Me and Bobby McGee. Thank you for the assist on this, Frank. Joplin recorded the song written by Chris Christopherson a few days before her death in October of 1970.
Yep.
This marked the second time an artist had a number 1 hit posthumously after Otis Redding's Sitting by the Dock of the Bay.
One of the most soulful rock and roll songs in the history of rock and roll. If you don't love this song, I mean, how just soulful it is, man. I mean, it is just, I love this song. And a lot of people, I guess by now people know Christopherson wrote it, but it was I thought it was fantastic. I love this song, and I sent this to you. I said, try and squeeze this in if you can, because it's a great song. It's hard to believe this is 50 years ago is when it was number 1 on the charts. Well done as always. Great job on headlines. We'll be back on this March Madness Friday to wrap the Friday show. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than
you deserve.
Now, another March update, served up hot by Hurricane Grill and Wings and Florida Pest Control.
Let's check out what's going on around the country here on this second day of the round of 64 as we're smack in the middle of one of the best sports weekends of the entire year. The 10th-seeded Vanderbilt Commodores and the 7th-seeded St. Mary's Gales are in a close. Actually, that game just went final. St. Mary's is going to take that 60-56. 11 UNC is struggling against the 6th-seeded Ole Miss Rebels. UNC beat San Diego State the other night to get in that play-in game. And then the only other live game right now is the 4th-seeded Maryland Terrapins versus the 13th-seeded Grand Canyon. That game's at halftime. Maryland up 42-28. And then tonight, the long-awaited game, the Florida Gators, the 1 seed, are taking on 16th-seeded Norfolk State here in about an hour-ish. At 6:50, and then we got 7 Marquette, 10 New Mexico, and 8 UConn versus 9 Oklahoma. I'm Max Fink with another NCAA tournament update.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major League Baseball, New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge, the betting favorite to lead the majors in home runs this season. Judge is at plus 300. Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers is at plus 500. Kyle Schwarber plus 1,000 to lead the league in home runs. Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 1,600. Pete Alonso and Yordan Alvarez both at plus 1,800. Luis Arraez of the Miami Marlins is the betting favorite to be the regular season hits leader. He is at plus 600. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals plus 700. Trey Turner and Vladimir Guerrero both at plus 1,200 to lead the league in hits. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Florida heat is no joke. Is your air conditioner ready for it? At Duck Duck Air Conditioning, we've got a crazy offer just for you. We're giving away free AC inspections to our wonderful customers who now call and schedule. One of our expert techs will come look at your AC unit and make recommendations to ensure it's running at peak performance. But you must act today. A deal this good won't last forever. Call 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. DuckDuckAC.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of classic rock with legendary vocalist Jeff Tate. Known for his iconic work with Queensryche, Jeff Tate brings his unforgettable sound to the Florida Theater for one night only.
A round-trip journey in your head.
Witness the hit album Operation Mindcrime, performed in its entirety for the final time. Jeff Tate, Operation Mindcrime, April 3rd at Florida Theater. Tickets at floridatheater.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
When no names become household names. Listen for March moments all month long on 1010XL. Driven by Garber Auto Mall. We can wiggle it.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Get ready for ice-cold action with the Jacksonville Icemen. Experience the thrill of hockey, the excitement of the game, and the local spirit. Full promotional schedule at JacksonvilleIcemen.com. Join the Icemen for a season full of unforgettable moments.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. Showrooms at Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Hi, I'm Jeff Breyer, president of Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
And I'm Zach Breyer. When my dad started in business in 1990, I wasn't even born yet.
That's true, and after 35 years and nearly 20,000 satisfied customers, we literally have a showroom in every neighborhood.
So whether you need more outdoor living space with a glass or screen enclosure, or you're looking to transform your home with new flooring, we've got you covered.
Visit our websites, or better yet, do yourself a favor and stop by one of our showrooms on Phillips Highway to experience the Lifetime difference and receive 20% off your purchase now through March.
Lifetime Enclosures.
Hey, this is David with Royal Pest Services. The fact that we've been bundled up the past month gave us an idea. Let's bundle up also with our Centricon and Pest Control bundle, starting at $349. Visit RoyalPestServices.com for your free inspection.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been? Well, I'll tell you where we are. We're here at Strings, and we've had a great time here. I want to thank one more time Paige Covington from Engel & Volkers Real Estate. Paige is a great agent. Man, was she popular today. They were all coming over to talk to Paige about their real estate needs. It's a tough selling market right now, so if you're trying to sell or buy a home, call Paige at 904-563-5717 and give her a call, give her a text. She'd love to help you out. And again, there are a lot of people over here with her that got that message today. So thank you, Paige, for helping Strings sponsor this thing. And we love being at Strings here at Penman Road, having a big time. We're about to have a big meal after our big time, so we are very excited about it. So thanks to Paige for having us out in the Strings, folks. We
that fish that Scott brought over.
Oh my God, we nibbled. He brought us this mahi special. We both nibbled on it. I pretty much told him, okay, that will be my dinner in about 5 minutes. Okay, that is what I will order shortly. But thanks to our folks at Strings. We talked a lot of basketball today. Mostly it was all about the NCAA tournament. We did have Brett Hastings by to talk about all the uptick in gambling and sports gambling, particularly in college basketball. Pete Prisco stopped by, as always, on a Friday, brought to you by Showtime, to talk about the NFL, what he thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to wind up doing, and how he feels about the Jaguars as they continue to build out their team by adding offensive linemen. 4 of the 10 free agents are offensive linemen, so it's a lot of fun, certainly, with Pete. That's where we've been on the show today. All right, your expectations, you asked me, your expectations for the Gators tonight?
I think it's going to be kind of close to a first-round TKO, and that's nothing against Norfolk State. I mean, obviously, they've had a great year. They won the MEAC, but you look at them from a numbers standpoint. They are an older team. I mean, it's all seniors and grad, students. But so I don't think, that will be an issue for them. They're a very old seasoned team. But I just think, what Florida throws at you is a buzzsaw. And there's no chance in the MEAC, Norfolk State saw anything remotely close to what Florida presents with the front court, with the 3 guards, Aberdeen off the bench. So, I think comfortable tonight. I'll say Florida wins 106-71.
So, same game.
Yeah, I think they cover.
What now, next time we're on the air, they'll either be in or not in the Sweet 16. They'll either be in the Sweet 16 or eliminated. What will your level of nerves be if UConn wins tonight and it's Florida and UConn on Sunday?
It'll be significant because obviously UConn's got a great pedigree. They've got a great coach, and you worry about a team like that, flipping the switch at the right time. I do think they'll beat Oklahoma, so I do think it'll be UConn-Florida. The problem UConn, I think, ultimately is going to run into is defensively, they're just not even close to the same team that they were winning back-to-back titles. And I don't think a team that is substandard defensively, which is what UConn is, really has much of a chance to stop Florida because Florida doesn't need everybody to go off to win. They have 8 guys that can hurt you. Well, if 4 of those 8 play well offensively, you're not going to beat them. And Florida is a much better defensive team, too. So if it's Florida-UConn, Florida has by far the best offense, and they have the better defense. So, could they play lousy and lose? Yeah, but I would think that Florida should be able to beat UConn, I'd say, between 11 and 14 points on Sunday.
By the way, if you're wondering, the West Regionals is a Thursday-Saturday, not a Friday-Sunday. So next week, if Florida wins tonight and Sunday, it's not Friday-Sunday again. It's Thursday-Saturday. So it's a quick turnaround to get to San Francisco.
Yeah, it really is.
For all these teams.
It really is, yeah. And so that'll be something, hopefully, that we'll be able to break down on Monday's show.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick, not a lot of drama in the first 2 days. No buzzer beaters, no gigantic upsets, huh?
Yeah, they're coming. That game, a moment ago here with Vanderbilt was pretty tight, but not a good day for me so far. 13-3 yesterday. I think 3-3 right now. So hopefully that'll turn, and I feel good about my picks, including I have Norfolk State tonight over the University of Florida.
Hey, you know what? You're never afraid to go out on a limb. Very good. We were all 3 11-5 yesterday, so hopefully we'll do a little bit better today. What's coming up tonight, Rick, on the program?
We are right down the road from where I live. It's one of my favorite places here in Bartram Park. It's Top Dog Tavern, and they are celebrating their 3rd anniversary. They have fantastic drink specials as well as food. And I want to tell you, 3 years in business, so it's still relatively new. Just an incredible place, family environment, TVs surrounding everything, indoors, outdoors. I know it's a little brisk outside, but if you want to put on a jacket, it reminds me a little bit of Chicago, too, because they have these garage doors, which is big in Illinois, the 7 years I did spend there. But really looking forward to it. The Philly Godfather's coming up in 25 minutes, so he'll tell us whether or not to lay the 28.5 with Florida or to go ahead and take those points. We'll look at some other big games as well, and really looking forward to it. It should be fun here over the next couple of hours.
All right, Rick, sounds good. We appreciate it, buddy. Have a good show.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.
You too, Rick, and don't go anywhere because Rick Beluga's into the night, and he does a fantastic job. You're going to love the program. That'll do it for our show. Enjoy the basketball. Go Gators from our standpoint for sure. By the time we see you, I think they will have played 2 games, so we'll talk about it next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're out of here. Thanks again to our friends from Strings for bringing us out here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.